Another death row production. Mike Tyson, the next heavyweight champion of the world. Everybody else for.
Alrighty guys, what's going on? Welcome on back. It's the Empire. I'm your host Risky. It is Monday, May 25th. Happy Memorial Day to all. Looking back at yesterday, the damn losing streak continues. I don't know what the hell is going on right now. A bunch of these teams are coming out. You know what? No excuses. Just know I went absolutely crazy with the research here today. And you guys already know the rules. It's on to the next one. We got a 13-game slate of baseball here on tap today. Games get started nice and early. Guys, Outlier Sportsbook, the link is down in the description. Sign up with them. The first week is free. Also, at the end of the video, the 4 bets we'll be placing here today ourselves. With all of that being said, let's jump into it. Alright, first game up, we got the Cubs in Pittsburgh taking on the Pirates. Ben Brown on the mount for the Cubs. Molzinski on the mount for the Pirates. Alright, getting into this one here, the Cubs continue this terrible streak of baseball. They have now lost 8 games in a row coming into it. Ben Brown's on the mount for the Cubs today. This is gonna be that platoon bullpen day between Ben Brown and Assad, where Ben Brown will start off the game, go about 4 innings, then Assad will come in, take over, go about 3 or 4 himself. Looking at Ben Brown's numbers since he's taken over in this role, he had 2 really good outings against the Rangers and the Braves, where he pitched 4 scoreless innings. His last outing last week against the Brewers, pitched 5 innings, gave up 3 runs. That game was very hitter friendly, and that Brewers team was really hitting the ball well. Today, he's going to be seeing a Pittsburgh Pirates lineup that's batting .255 on the season versus right-handed pitching, slugging .398. In their last 8 games, their offensive numbers have cooled off a bit. They're batting just .230 in their last 8 games, still slugging .390. Looking at the matchup for Ben Brown, Brown is a guy that throws that fastball curveball combo a lot, then mixes in a very good sinker. There was one guy that really matched up well against him. That was Brandon Lau. I could see Lau taking him yard in this game here today. After that, Assad's going to come in. Assad's another ground ball pitcher, has a ground ball rate of 40%. I can see him giving up a run, but nothing too crazy as well. The bullpen arms that's going to be available for the Cubs late. I do like the arms for the Cubs. They're going to have an advantage late in this game here today. On the other side, we got Molzinski. He's looked good in his last 2 outings. Granted, towards the end of April, beginning of May, he was getting lit up. His last 2 starts against the Giants and the Cardinals, he pitched 6 innings against the Giants, gave up 2 runs, then 5 scoreless against the Cardinals last week. Today, he's going to be seeing a Chicago Cubs lineup that's batting .229 versus right-handed pitching, slugging .387. If we go back just 20 days ago, this team was batting .350 versus right-handed pitching, slugging .420. Their numbers have really dropped, especially in the offensive categories. Looking at the matchup here today for Molzinski, I can see him struggling with this Cubs lineup. I'm not expecting this Cubs team to stay just cold forever. They're eventually going to start hitting. There's a bunch of guys that match up well against Molzinski. Not to mention he struggles versus lefties. There'll be 6 good left-handed bats in this Cubs lineup. The 3 guys that really matched up well against him was Bush, Suzuki, and Ian Happ. I could see one of them taking them yard in this game. I could see Molzinski going about 5 innings, giving up 3 runs. Looking at the arms that's going to be available for the Pirates, I don't like the arms available for the Pirates. Like I said, I feel the Cubs are going to have the advantage late in this one. Looking at the weather here today, it's going to be about 75 degrees throughout. It's going to be a 1 o'clock start game. Looking at the rating for PNC Ballpark, it's been a very offensive ballpark this season. It's ranked 6th overall in the majors. It's been very hitter-friendly for left-handed bats. Not so much for righties. It's towards the bottom of the league. Let's get to the picks. The Cubs are the betting odd favorites in this game, and I like them here on the money line. The game total set at 8. I like the over 8 total runs in this one. For the player prop, I'm taking Ian Happ of the Cubs to hit a home run today. Next up, we got the Tampa Bay Rays in Baltimore taking on the Orioles. The left-handed pitcher McCallahan on the mount for the Rays. Kyle Bradish on the mount for the Orioles. Alright, getting into this one here, the Tampa Bay Rays continue to play very good. They're now 7-3 in their last 10 games played. Today, the left-handed pitcher McCallahan's on the mount for the Rays. As a matter of fact, the first thing we need to take a look at here, guys, is the weather. They're projecting rain throughout the day. This is a 1 o'clock start game. I could see this one getting delayed, if not completely postponed. Looking at the matchup, we got the left-handed pitcher McCallaghan on the mound for the Rays. This guy's been amazing for Tampa Bay this season. 10 starts, 2.80 ERA. He's coming off the one game of the season where he actually allowed some runs. Last week in Tampa Bay, where he saw this Orioles lineup, in that game he pitched 5 innings, gave up 4 runs. That was a game where the Rays won 16-6. A lot of runs was scored in that game. I'm not going to hold it against him. Looking at the matchup here today for him, he's going to be seeing an Orioles lineup that's batting .225 versus left-handed pitching, only slugging .366. This Orioles lineup saw a lefty in Valdez in Detroit yesterday, for the Detroit Tigers, I should say. In that game, Valdez pitched 6 innings, only gave up a run. That run came from a Gunnar Henderson home run. Looking at the matchup here today for McCallaghan, he's throwing that fastball primarily, using the changeup and the slider as both the setup and the put-away pitch. There was only one guy that really matched up well against him, that's Pete Alonso. I can see McCallaghan having his regular start where he goes about 5-6 scoreless innings. If not, he gives up a run, turning it over to a Tampa Bay Rays bullpen that's completely rested. Remember, that game Saturday got rained out, so this team had an extra day rest compared to the Baltimore Orioles. On the other side, for the Orioles, we got Kyle Bradish on the mound. He's coming off of 2 back-to-back good starts. Against the Yankees, he pitched 6 scoreless innings. Then last week in Tampa Bay, he pitched into the 6th inning, gave up 2 runs. Looking at the matchup here today for Bradish, this Tampa Bay Rays lineup is starting to really hit right-handed pitching very well. They're batting .260 versus righties, slugging .397. Bradish is a sinker ball pitcher, a ground ball pitcher. When we look at the matchup, this Tampa Bay Rays lineup, you see versus the sinker ballers, they're all green. There was one guy that really matched up well against Bradish, that's Aranda. I can see Bradish going about 5-6 innings, giving up 2 runs, turning it over to an Orioles bullpen. I like the arms that's going to be available for the Orioles here today. I can see them coming in, stopping the bleeding. Like I said, looking at the weather, it's going to be a game that might get postponed. If it does get played, it's going to be a very pitcher-friendly game. Let's get to the picks. The Rays are the betting odd favorites in this game, and I'm playing them on the money line. The game total set at 7.5. I like the under 7.5 total runs. For the player prop, I'm taking a Ronda of the Rays for 2 total bases. Up next, we got the Cardinals in Milwaukee taking on the Brewers. The left-handed pitcher Liberatore on the mound for the Cardinals. Mizorowski on the mound for the Brewers. Alright, getting into this one here, the Milwaukee Brewers, they lost this series to the Dodgers here at home, but they're still 7-3 in their last 10 games played. Today, the left-handed pitcher Matthew Liberatore is on the mound for St. Louis. He's not looked good this season. 8 starts, has an ERA of .470. His last 2 outings against the Athletics and the Pirates didn't make it past the 5th inning in both of those games. Gave up 4 runs in both of those games. Today he's going to be seeing a Milwaukee Brewers lineup. On the season, they do not have good numbers versus left-handed pitching. But in their last 15 games, it's really been since Chourio and Vaughn came back into the lineup. They've really started to get the lefties. We saw Friday night against Warblowski of the Dodgers. They put up 5 runs on him. Warblowski had looked really good before getting into that game. Looking at the matchup here today for Liberatore, he's throwing that fastball primarily. That slider's his secondary pitch. The slider's been his demise up to this point. The pitch is either moving very well or he doesn't have control of it and he's walking a lot of guys. He comes into this game with an average of 4.5 walks per 9 innings. This is not a spot I like for him here today. Seeing this Milwaukee Brewers lineup, like I said, they've been hitting up lefties very well. Chourio really matches up well against Liberatore. I can see Liberatore going about 5 innings, giving up 3 to 4 runs, turning it over to a Cardinals bullpen. Their tax coming into it. They haven't been playing well of late. I don't like the arms that's going to be available for St. Louis late in this game here today. I see them coming in, giving up a few runs. On the other side, we got Jacob Mizorowski on the mound. He's looked amazing this season, especially since the month of May has begun. He's made 4 starts, over 22 innings pitched, no runs given up. Today, he's going to be seeing a St. Louis Cardinals lineup that has been hitting the ball very well. They're batting .241 versus right-handed pitching, slugging .400. In their last 8 games played, the St. Louis Cardinals are batting .257 as a team. Looking at the matchup here today for Mizorowski, he's a fastball pitcher. His 2 put-away pitches is that slider and the curveball. He's gonna see 6 left-handed bats in the St. Louis Cardinals lineup. I can see this being the game where the scoreless streak ends. I can see Mizorowski going about 5 innings, giving up 2 runs here today. Turning it over to a Milwaukee bullpen that is starting to regress. At the beginning of the month, they were playing very well. In their last 8 games played, the Milwaukee bullpen has an ERA of 4.67. I can see the arms available for Milwaukee coming in here, giving up a run or two themselves. Looking at the weather, well, it's out in Milwaukee in the dome, so no weather to sway any things. Let's get to the picks. The Brewers are the betting odd favorites in this game here today, and I'm playing them on the run line. The game total set at 7.5. I like the over 7.5 total runs. For the player prop, I'm taking Jackson Chourio of the Brewers for 2 total bases. Up next, we got the Minnesota Twins in Chicago taking on the White Sox. Zebby Matthews on the mound for Minnesota. We got the left-handed pitcher K on the mound for the White Sox. Alright, getting into this one here, the Twins continue to play some good baseball of late. They're now 7-3 in their last 10 games played. Today, the right-handed pitcher Zebby Matthews is on the mound for Minnesota. He's made 2 starts this season. His first outing was against the Marlins, where he pitched 7 shutout innings. Then his last start last week against the Astros, pitched into the 6th inning, gave up 2 runs. Today, he's going to be seeing a White Sox lineup that's batting .231 versus right-handed pitching, slugging .380. But we talk about it all the time. This White Sox team plays much better in their home games, especially offensively. Looking at the matchup here today for Zebby Matthews, he is a guy that throws that fastball over 50% of the time. He's trying to mix in that curve and the slider. There's a bunch of left-handed bats in this White Sox lineup. Through the first 2 starts, Zebby Matthews has looked decent versus lefties, but when I go back to last season, he did struggle versus left-handed bats. I can see him in this game here today giving up a few runs. He's going to be seeing some power-hitting left-handed bats and guys like Montgomery and Murakami. I can see Zebby Matthews pitching 5 to 6 innings, giving up 2 runs here today. Turning it over to a Minnesota Twins bullpen that's still one of the worst bullpens in the majors. I'm expecting them to come and give up a run or 2. On the other side, we got Anthony K. He's looked really good in the month of May here. He's pitched 4 games, not giving up more than 2 runs in any of the starts. Mind you, when I look at the competition, he saw a Padres lineup that's towards the bottom of the league in the majors versus left-handed pitching. Then saw a Mariners lineup twice that was out with no Cal Raleigh. And then, of course, the Kansas City Royals lineup that struggles versus lefties. Doing the matchup here today for him, he's going to be seeing a Minnesota Twins lineup that's batting .244 versus left-handed pitching. They're only slugging .364. Anthony K is a guy that's trying to throw. He throws his whole pitching arsenal. That's one thing that's been able to work in his favor. He keeps a lot of batters off balance. He's going to see 7 to 8 right-handed bats in this lineup here today. Anthony K does struggle versus righties. He does come into this game with an ERA still close to 4.30. I can see Anthony K struggling here today with this Minnesota Twins lineup, giving up 3 to 4 runs, if not more, turning it over to a White Sox bullpen that continues to play well, but their attacks coming into it, the arms that's going to be available for the White Sox, I'm expecting them to give up a few runs. Looking at the weather here today, 2 o'clock start, 70 degrees throughout. We're going to have 10-mile-per-hour winds blowing from the outfield into the diamond. Let's get to the picks. The Twins are the betting odd favorites in this game, and I'm playing them here on the money line. The game total set at 8.5. I like the over 8.5 total runs. For the player prop, I'm taking Byron Buxton of the Twins for 2 total bases. Next up, we got the Yankees in Kansas City taking on the Royals. Will Warren on the mound for the Yankees. Michael Wacha on the mound for the Royals. Alright, getting into this one here, we got 2 teams that have been playing extremely mediocre in the month of May. In the last 10 games played, the Yankees are 4-6. The Royals in their last 10 games are 3-7. Today, they're going to be seeing Will Warren on the mound for the Yankees. He's looked good this year. He comes into it with a record of 6-1, 3.60 ERA. His last outing against the Blue Jays, he didn't look too good in that start. In that game, he pitched 5 innings, gave up 3 runs. Today, he's going to be seeing a Kansas City Royals lineup that's batting .241 versus right-handed pitching, only slugging .380. but in their last 8 games played, this team is only batting .217 as a unit. Looking at the matchup here today, Will Warren is throwing a good fastball slider combo, mixing in a good sinker, especially the left-handed bats. I can see Will Warren going about 6 innings, 5 to 6 innings, giving up 2 to 3 runs. There was 2 guys that really matched up well against him. That was Jansen and Garcia. Looking at this Yankees bullpen, they are rested coming into it, but in the month of May, they've been playing very bad. In over 20 games played, they have a bullpen ERA of 4.80. I'm expecting them to come in, give up a few runs here today. We got Michael Wacha on the other side for the Royals. He's still good this season. He comes into it with a 4-2 record, 2.70 ERA. Saw this Yankees team in the beginning of April, pitched 6 innings, gave up 2 runs. When I was looking at my notes, that game was extremely pitcher friendly, about 50 degrees, wind blowing in. His last outing in Boston, he at home against the Red Sox, I should say, pitched 6 innings, gave up a run, so he's been in decent form of late. The big thing I'm paying attention to here with Michael Wacha, in his last 4 starts, yet his hard hit rate has really increased. It went from 38% to up to 45%. Today, he's going to be seeing a Yankees lineup that's slugging .411 versus righties. Looking at the matchup for Michael Wacha, he's throwing a fastball changeup combo with a cutter in it, the curveball being his 2 put-away pitches. The sinker has not been good this season for Michael Wacha. It's been his worst pitch. Looking at the breakdown for him, there was 2 guys that really matched up well against him. That's Ben Rice and Aaron Judge. I can see Michael Wacha struggling in this game, getting hit up, the Yankees putting up a bunch of runs on him here today. Looking at the Royals bullpen, they started to regress. They were playing good in the beginning of the month of May. In the last 8 games played, they have a bullpen ERA of 5.10. Looking at the weather here today, it's going to be very hitter friendly. It's going to be 80 plus degrees throughout. We're going to have 10-mile-per-hour winds blowing from the diamond to the outfield. Looking at the park factor, Kauffman Stadium's been a top 10 offensive stadium all year. Ballpark Pal has this rated as the 2nd best offensive game on the schedule. Let's get to the picks. The Yankees are the betting odds favorites in this game, and I'm playing them on the run line. The game total set at 9. I like the over 9 total runs. For the player prop, I'm taking Ben Rice of the Yankees to hit a home run today. Up next, we got the Cincinnati Reds in New York taking on the Mets. The left-handed pitcher Nick Lodolo on the mound for the Reds. We got Noah McLean on the mound for the Mets. Alright, getting into this one here, the Mets just dropped the last 3 games to the Marlins in Miami. Today, back at home, they're going to be seeing the left-handed pitcher Nick Lodolo on the mound for the Reds. He has not looked good in his 3 starts he's made this year. Against the Astros, Nationals, and the Phillies, he's given up 3 or more runs in all of those games. Today, he is projected to have his best start of the season, though. He's going to be seeing a Mets lineup that's only batting .224 versus left-handed pitching, slugging .358. We saw the Mets bats in that series in Miami go cold. Looking at the matchup here today for Lodolo, he's throwing that curveball changeup combo still, mixing in a good sinker. I can see Lodolo having, like I said, his best start of the year here, going about 6 innings, giving up a run, turning it over to a Cincinnati Reds bullpen. Still one of the worst in the majors. I'm expecting them to give up a run when they come in, but nothing too crazy. On the other side, we got Noah McLean on the mound for the Mets. He started off the season looking amazing. His last few outings, he's really started to struggle in the month of May. Since the month of May has begun, these 4 starts, he's really struggled with his command. Hard hit rate's gone up at least 5%. He was at 31%, now it's at 36%. Looking at the matchup here today for him, he's going to be seeing a Cincinnati Reds lineup that's batting .228 versus right-handed pitching, slugging .385. But in their last 8 games versus right-handed pitching, they're batting .240. We know on the season versus lefties, they hit much better, but they're starting to come around versus righties. Looking at the matchup here today, Noah McLean's a sinker ball pitcher, throws that sinker about 36% of the time. I can see him having another bad outing here today. This Cincinnati Reds lineup has been hitting the sinker ball very well this season. I can see Noah McLean going about 5-6 innings, giving up 3 runs, turning it over to a Mets bullpen that continues to play well. They are rested coming into it. I'm expecting them to come in, stop the bleeding here today. Looking at the weather, it's going to be more on the pitcher-friendly side. It's an evening game with the wind blowing from the outfield into the diamond. Let's get to the picks. The Mets are the betting odds favorites in this game, and I like the road dogs in this spot. Give me the Cincinnati Reds on the money line. The game total set at 7.5. I like the under 7.5 total runs. For the player prop, I'm taking Ellie De La Cruz of the Reds for 2 total bases. Up next, we got the Phillies in San Diego taking on the Padres. The left-handed pitcher Luzardo on the mound for the Phillies. We got Vasquez on the mound for the Padres. Alright, getting into this one here, the Padres at the beginning of the month of May were playing terrible baseball. They really started to turn around of late. They're 6-4 in their last 10 games played. Today they're going to be seeing the left-handed pitcher Luzardo on the mound for the Phillies. He's an extremely volatile pitcher. We talk about it all the time. He's coming off a decent start last week against the Reds. Pitched 6 innings, gave up 2 runs. Today he's going to be seeing a San Diego Padres lineup that is towards the bottom of the majors versus left-handed pitching. There's batting just 208 versus lefties, slugging .323. But in their last 8 games played versus left-handed pitching, they're batting .237, slugging .380. So we're seeing this Padres lineup really turn it around versus left-handed pitching. Looking at the matchup for Luzardo, we talk about it all the time. He's at his best when he's able to work the strikeouts. Today, he's going to be seeing a San Diego Padres lineup that is towards the bottom of the league in strikeouts, but they do draw a lot of walks. I can see Luzardo struggling with this lineup here today. There was 2 guys that really matched up well against him. That was Manny Machado and Fernando Tatis. I can see Luzardo going about 5 to 6 innings, giving up 3 runs, turning it over to Phillies bullpen that continues to play very well. They're rested coming into it. I'm expecting them to come in and stop the bleeding. On the other side, we got Randy Vasquez. He continues to be a very good starting pitcher, looked very good this season, has a .296 ERA coming into it. His last outing, he did get roughed up, pitching to the 5th inning, gave up 3 runs to the Dodgers. Today, he's going to be seeing a Phillies lineup that's only batting .235 versus righties. In their last 8 games played, this Phillies team's batting .217 as a unit, slugging .390. Looking at the matchup here today for Vasquez, he has a ground ball rate of 38%. He also pitches for a lot of pop fly outs. It's going to be pitcher friendly weather out there in San Diego. I can see him going about 6 innings, giving up a run here today, turning it over to a Padres bullpen that has been surprisingly bad in the last 2 weeks. In their last 8 games played, this Padres bullpen has an ERA of .490. I could see them coming in here today, getting back on track against this Phillies lineup that's been struggling. Looking at the weather here today, it's going to be very pitcher friendly. 65 throughout, 10-mile-per-hour winds blowing from the outfield into the diamond. Let's get to the picks. The Phillies are the betting odds favorites in this game, and I like the home dogs in this spot. Give me the San Diego Padres on the money line. The game total set at 7.5. I like the over 7.5 total runs in this one. For the player prop, I'm taking Manny Machado of the Padres to hit a home run today. Next up, we got the Astros taking on the Rangers. We got Imine on the mount for the Astros. We got Rocker on the mount for the Rangers. Alright, getting into this one here, the Astros coming off a series where they just swept the Cubs. The Texas Rangers just got swept by the Angels. Here today, they're going to be seeing Tatsui Amai on the mount for the Astros. He's looked absolutely terrible this season. He comes into it with an ERA of .830. He's given up 3 or more runs in all of his starts except one. Looking at the matchup here today for Imai, he's going to be seeing a Texas Rangers lineup on the season. They're batting .243 versus right-handed pitching. They're batting .228 in their last 8 games played. Imai has a hard hit rate of 48% coming into this game. Looking at the matchup here today for him, the left-handed bats really stood out, I should say. Guys like Jung and Berger, Nemo can really get to Imai in this game, turning it over to an Astros bullpen. Still the worst bullpen in the majors, not to mention they're highly taxed coming into this one. On the other side, we got Kumar Rocker on the mount for the Astros. He started off the month of May looking absolutely terrible, getting hit up against the Tigers and the Cubs, but in his last outing against the Diamondbacks, settled back down. He pitched 5 scoreless innings in that game. Granted, that Arizona Diamondbacks lineup is very inconsistent. He's going to be seeing an Astros lineup that's actually hitting the ball much better overall this season. On the year, they're batting .247 versus right-handed pitching, slugging .404. I can see Rocker coming out here today, struggling versus this Astros lineup, pitching about 5 innings, giving up 3 runs, turning it over to a Rangers bullpen that's rested. They've still been one of the best bullpens in the majors all season. I see them coming in, stopping the bleeding. Looking at the weather, well, it's down in Texas in the dome, so no weather to sway anything. Let's get to the picks. The Rangers are the betting odds favorites in this game, and I like them here on the run line. The game total set at 8.5. I like the under 8.5 total runs. For the player prop, I'm taking Burger of the Rangers to hit a home run today. Next up, we got the Miami Marlins in Toronto taking on the Blue Jays. We got Jansen Junk on the mount for Miami. We got Savage on the mount for the Blue Jays. Alright, getting into this one here, the Blue Jays just won the series against Pittsburgh here at home. Today, they're going to be welcoming in the Miami Marlins. They're going to be seeing Jansen Junk on the mount for Miami. Junk started off the season looking really impressive, but since the month of May has begun, the wheels have really fallen off the bus for him. His last 2 outings against the Rays and the Braves, 10 innings pitched, 15 runs given up. Today, he's going to be seeing a Toronto Blue Jays lineup that's batting .251 versus right-handed pitching, only slugging .385. The big thing with Jansen Junk is that hard hit rate. It is skyrocketed up to 51% in the month of May. That slider, the command, which is his primary pitch, the command on the slider is not there right now. He's walking a lot of batters. I can see this Blue Jays lineup getting 2 to 3 runs off of him. There was 2 guys that really matched up well against him. That's Varsho and Okamoto. I can see one of them taking him yard in this game. Turning it over to a Marlins bullpen that has been very good this season, but after yesterday's game, they're incredibly taxed coming into it. I don't like the arms that's going to be available for Miami here today. On the other side, we got Savage on the mount. The young pitcher has looked really impressive this season. He's made 4 starts. Actually, he's made 5 starts now, has an ERA of 107. His last outing against the Yankees, pitched 6 scoreless innings. Looking at the matchup here today for him, for one, he's going to be seeing a lineup that's loaded with lefties. He doesn't have better splits versus righties or lefties. He's been very good versus both this season. This Miami Marlins lineup is batting .246 versus right-handed pitching, only slugging .377. I can see Savage, who works the strikeout. Mind you, he's a 3-pitch pitcher, but all 3 of these pitches are very good. He works the strikeout. I can see him working the K's here today, going about 6 innings, giving up a run, turning it over to a Blue Jays bullpen that's rested coming into it. They continue to play very well. It's up in Toronto in the Dome, so no weather to sway anything. Let's get to the picks. The Blue Jays are the betting off favorites in this game, and I'm playing them on the money line. The game total set at 7.5. I like the under 7.5 total runs. For the player prop, I'm taking Varsho of the Blue Jays for 2 total bases. Alright guys, up next we got the Colorado Rockies in Los Angeles taking on the Dodgers. Tanner Gordon on the mount for the Rockies. We got Emmett Sheehan on the mount for the Dodgers. Alright, we're going to run through these last 2 games. We got Tanner Gordon here on the mount for the Rockies. He's looked absolutely terrible. In the month of May, he's had 2 outings where both of the times he's come out for the Rockies, he's had an opener. Today, this is going to be the first time in over a month he doesn't have an opener. He has a hard hit rate of 52% coming into it. This is a guy that has terrible splits versus left-handed bats. I'm expecting this Dodgers lineup to obliterate him here today. Back at home where the Dodgers been hitting much better all season, I see Tanner Gordon going about 3 to 4 innings, giving up 5 to 6 runs here today, turning it over to a Rockies bullpen that's completely taxed. I see them coming in, giving up a few runs. On the other side, we got Emmett Sheehan on the mount for the Dodgers. He continues to look very mediocre this season, giving up 2 or more runs in all of his starts. The big thing, there's no Moniak in this Rockies lineup. He's still injured. He's going to be gone for a little while. They're going to be missing their best left-handed bat, the main threat versus right-handed pitching. I can see Emmett Sheehan going out about 6 innings, giving up a run or 2 in this one, turning it over to a Dodgers bullpen that's extremely rested. Not to mention they continue to play very well of late. Looking at the weather here today, about 85 degrees at start with wind blowing from the diamond to the outfield. Let's get to the picks. The Dodgers are the betting off favorites in this game, and I'm playing them on the run line. The game total set at 8.5. I like the over 8.5 total runs. For the player prop, I'm taking Shohei Ohtani to hit a home run today. And the final game of the day, we got the Mariners in Sacramento taking on the Athletics. We got Castillo on the mount for the Mariners. We got Savali on the mount for the Athletics. Alright, getting into this one here. Castillo, that last week was the first time we backed the game that he started all season against the Astros. Today, it's going to be a completely different story for him. He's still one of the worst pitchers in the majors. ERA up above 6. He's going to be seeing an Athletics lineup that is crushing right-handed pitching. They're a top 5 team in the majors versus righties. They're back in Sacramento in the small ballpark. It's going to be the best offensive game according to Ballpark Pal. We're going to have wind blowing out to the outfield. Castillo's hard hit rate coming into this game is at 49%. I'm expecting this Athletics lineup to get a bunch of runs off of him in this one, turning it over to Mariners bullpen. That is a bit taxed coming into it, but they're still a very good bullpen overall. I can see them coming in, stopping the bleeding. On the other side, we got Savali on the mount. He's looked very good this season. He's probably coming off his worst start of the year last week. This is a guy that pitches very good in this small ballpark in Sacramento. He has the hang for it. He's going to be seeing at least 6 left-handed bats in this lineup. That does worry me for him. He does struggle versus lefties. I can see Savali going about 4 or 5 innings, giving up 3 runs, turning it over to an Athletics bullpen that's incredibly taxed coming into it. They're still one of the worst bullpens in the majors. Looking at the weather, like I said, the best offensive game on the schedule here today. Wind blowing from the diamond to the outfield. Let's get to the picks. The Mariners are the betting odd favorites in this game, and I like the home dogs in this spot. Give me the Athletics on the money line. The game total set at 10. I like the over 10 total runs. For the player prop, I'm taking Brett Rooker of the Athletics to hit a home run today. Alrighty guys, before we get up out of here, the 4 bets we'll be placing here today ourselves. Our first bet will be our ladder play. It's going to be a $10 bet on the Texas Rangers on the run line. We're getting them at plus 152. This is our ladder play of the day. Up next, we're going to be playing a 2-leg home run parlay here today. We're going to start it off with Ian Happ of the Cubs, and we wrap it up with Ben Rice of the Yankees, a $10 2-leg home run parlay. Up next, we have a 3-leg parlay we're playing here today. This is a very simple, this is not even to make a profit. I'm playing this parlay, it's like a basketball player. I just need to see the ball go through the net. If this parlay doesn't hit, I'm going to shoot some shit up. I'm being completely real with you. We're taking the Tampa Bay Rays on the money line. We're then going to play the New York Yankees on the money line. And we wrap it up with the Dodgers on the money line. If this doesn't hit, I'm going to go nuts. I'm going to go nuts. And our final bet of the day will be a 3-leg parlay with an actual profit to make here. We're going to start it off with the St. Louis Cardinals versus the Milwaukee Brewers game total to go over 7.5 total runs. We're then going to wrap up the parlay with the San Diego Padres on the money line and the Athletics on the money line. Once again, guys, before we get up out of here, I just want to send my salutes out to you all. It's Memorial Day. If you're home today, I hope you enjoy your day off. If you're on your way to work, I send my safeties and salutes out to you. You guys know I appreciate you all. I respect you all. Hope we all win some money here today, and I'm going to catch you on the next one.